you, Mr. Sergeant Dance, for the wonderful introduction. I think he deserves a round of applause. Good evening, Toastmasters.
Good evening.
Can't you hear me properly? Good evening.
Good evening.
That's the energy. So I open the meeting number 6:30. Now I request the secretary to read out the last minute of meeting.
Good evening, Toastmasters.
Good evening.
Last meeting number 630. The theme was Great Acts Are Made Up of Small Deeds by Lee Zhu. Word of the day, indomitable, which means unconquerable, unyielding. Sergeant Arms, Toastmaster Anand Bhairath, President Toastmaster Vijay Lakshmi Bhairath, MC Toastmaster Vinod, Table Topic Master Akash, General Evaluator Kumaran Peti, our counters Satyanarayan Raju, grammarian Prem, timer Srinivas, listener Ram Gopal. There were two speeches, one from 7th project in CC manual, which was given by Prashant Sharma. The title of the speech was Buy Your First Home as Early as Possible, evaluated by Mr. Satyanarayan Raju. Second speech was from Mr. Kumaran. It was a speech on tipping point in life. The honors were as follows: Best Speaker, Mr. Prashant Sharma; Best Listener, Mr. Srinivas; Best Table Topic Speaker, a guest called Arav; Best Evaluator, Mr. Srinivas Raju. Satyanarayan Raju. Any amendments?
Any amendments? Thank you. During the golden days of ancient Greece, 2,200 years ago, normally they used to settle the disputes with skills of oration. And once there was this young man who was deprived of his inheritance and stood before a crowd, more than 1,000 people, to defend his case. And the moment when he came on the podium, his voice was weak and his thoughts were muddled and his heart was pounding as if it were going to explode and his knees were wobbling. So he was terribly nervous. By the time when he opens his speech, he couldn't finish his speech. And automatically tears started rolling down his cheeks. So he ended up his speech abruptly and he left the podium with tears in his eyes. And he promised to come back again. And after that, he headed to the shores of Aegean Sea. As the winds roared and the huge waves crushed the rocks, this young man set himself in the chaos, practicing his speech in such a way to make sure that next time he has to give best. And he trained and practiced until his voice became so powerful as that of the gigantic winds. And after spending considerable time in improving his public speaking skills in terms of tone, language, variety, so there comes a time again for this demo Stehens. Once again stood before the huge crowd, and this time he spoke very clearly with all the practice, whatever the hard work that he has toiled, and with a lot of fervor and energy, he ended up in inspiring the audience. That has resulted in uniting the fight against the king of Macedonia. And overnight, he has become a famous orator of his times. Now, the question here that I want to ask is, how we are taking the failures in a sportive way? Are we working enough to encounter this particular barrier? And most of the times, as we have seen, that we try to be in our comfortable zone. And that's what our founder president, Mr. Kadriva, he has mentioned in his book, Public Speaking with Power, Passion, Purpose. He says that a student or a housewife, they always try to be in the comfort zone, telling that, why do I need to make a presentation? Do I need to make a presentation? Do I have to give some businessman. Went out to saying, I don't have to make any speeches, kind of thing. I have many people under me to take that kind of job. Now, if that is the case, and yet there are some people like Oprah Winfrey who demand thousands of dollars for every presence. And there is one person, Anthony Robbins, who charges thousands of dollars for every talk. It is not the subject of whether they are expertise in this particular subject. It is something that they are persuading the people, they are inspiring with their skills. And absolutely, we all need this particular ability of speaking in the public, whether it is on the stage or off the stage. There comes the incident where you have no choice but you have to speak. Like for example, whether it is in your community or if you are living in an apartment, suppose if you want to persuade some people to do some of the best things or to elect a representative who seems to be good. So there you need to have these particular skills where to persuade the people, to inspire, and the mastering of skills. And we are very fortunate in learning these skills every week through the way of attending Toastmaster meeting. And we're sure that every week we're getting a chance to come out of this particular comfort zone. And more than that, we are enjoying doing this particular activity. So to proceed with today's meeting, we have one such person who always wants to reach out from his comfortable zone. Now, very recently, he has made Sunshine proud by being the contest chair in the recently concluded division conference. This Toastmaster, very energetic, electronics engineer, and handsome, and an actor too. So ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to welcome the Master of Ceremony for today, Mr. Prashant Sharma, with a big round of applause.